Hey guys, welcome to After the Bars. I am Sam, and it is a beautiful, beautiful Friday. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about Karmelo Anthony and Charleston White's mentorship, I guess. He's buying him boxing lessons. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about those boxing lessons and how effective they will not be when he gets to where he's going. They're probably not going to be effective when he gets to county jail, and they're definitely not going to be effective when he gets to prison. He's going to run into some crazy, crazy cats when he gets there, especially in the Texas system. It's a nutty place. It's a screwy place. Lots of politics, lots of gangs, and I'm going to run through what his experience is going to be like, and I'm going to talk about how effective those boxing lessons are going to be. And make sure you stay tuned to the end because I'm going to talk about my experience, my first fights in prison, how I learned, what I had to learn, and it was not fun. It was not scary. It was high security. It was the federal system, and it was nuts. Prison gangs, independents, a lot of bloodsuckers, psychic vampires. Everybody's trying to get you. Boxing lessons against face tattoos and people with these coming at you just aren't effective. And I'm going to run it down for you guys. This is Sam, and you are After the Bars.
This will always be who I am.
Texting more come in and I see something that's important. How important it's going to be that everyone can hear me today. So Charleston White has gone on to X and a couple of, but everyone's been sharing it that he is, supporting him now after, he was telling the truth for real before. And I did a whole video on how he flip-flopped, and you can catch that right up here, right up there, right up somewhere. And video just done really well. I think I covered it pretty effectively. But today I want to talk about what Charleston White is saying about Karmelo Anthony now. And that's basically that he's took him down to Houston or San Antonio, wherever it is, and got him some boxing lessons. And he's paying for it, supposedly. But we all know Karmelo's dad and his family and the team are paying for Charleston White and his support. It's absolutely known. It's true. Prove me wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Prove me wrong. So today I want to talk about my experience with prison fighting and how boxing will never get you a big W in prison. Not ever. Really. You're going to have to know a little bit more than boxing. You're going to know how to cage fight. Now, if you know MMA or anything like that, you're a monster in there. Absolutely. If you're a beast like that, it's going to take someone better than you because you know how to use the walls, the fence. It's just like using the fence in the octagon. You know how to use the walls for pressure. Your ground game is good. You can stuff people in between the toilet and the wall. It's nuts. It's a totally different animal. So first, let's get to what Charleston White was talking about in his video.
The video of Karmelo Anthony in Austin Metcalf's incident is going to be released to the public. Nobody has really been advocating for the Karmelo Anthony family. There are a lot of details that are going to prove this kid is innocent all the way around. He gonna be all right. So man, so I used to partner and work with a criminal defense mitigation specialist. And by this criminal defense mitigation specialist coming in, she has the ability and the power to interview both sides. And what the adults are overlooking, and what I find so ironic, you can find no children nowhere speaking about it.
Now, I know you can do that in a civil case. I've never really heard of that in a criminal case. I'm not going to call him a liar on that. I don't know. I really don't. Texas is a different animal. I do cover some judges on my legal channel, Legal Livewire, Court Watch or Court TV. I can't remember. What is it? Court Cam. Legal Livewire, Court Cam. I do cover some Texas judges, and I follow a lot of Texas trials, and I watch a lot of hearings, docket sheets, and I've never heard of that, but that doesn't mean it's not true. This is a different beast. I've never been charged with murder, so I don't know. I don't know that much about it. So he might be telling the truth here. I don't know, but he's a liar. So
you know why? They have been prohibited to speak, and they're silent. Because if they speak, this kid case is dropped tomorrow. So we had to bring in some very important people. Some very important people, highly respected in Collin County. Man, he needs some people that's from there that know there. So yeah, nah, man. So I had to because he's on house arrest. I got one of the best boxing programs in Fort Worth, Texas. And Fort Worth is known as boxing. Shout out to Trent Road. So I went and got one of the best boxing programs that
it is known for boxing. There's some amazing boxers down there. A lot of amazing like Hispanic boxers come from Texas. You know, in the amateur ranks and some pros. There's just some great boxing gyms. They do a lot of stuff for kids. You know, a lot of gang outreach to get kids out of gangs and bring them into boxing, showing some discipline. I think it's amazing. That's probably one of the most amazing programs for a troubled kid, is to get him into boxing, discipline with a good group of trainers, a gym to where he can feel connected and wanted, and family, because that's mostly what it's all about, right? It's just to feel that connection and family. But I'll save that for another video.
Pay weekly to go out there 2 times a week so he can train, self-defense training, get this out your head. And he's studying law. So I sent him books. I gave him the new Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, which talks about the situation he in, school to prison pipeline. He's trapped in it. So I gave him this book to read. He's reading it like a motherfucker. He reading like a motherfucker. I told him another book to read. One of my mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, Understanding the Power and Purpose of a Man That Puts You to the Start Line, young brother. And he's so receptive. So yeah. Nah, man.
He ain't reading those books. Let's keep it real, man. Karmelo ain't reading those, but he might be, man. He might be just freaked out, and because we haven't seen or heard from him, which is fine. He's a youth. But and he might be just freaked out and just not doing anything and just reading, boxing, doing push-ups, whatever he feels he needs to do. But again, boxing lessons isn't going to protect him in there. I would rather him take a self-defense class, like something that my wife would do or I would do, but something to protect him from being grabbed from behind and or just jumped in weird different ways, or I don't know. I just feel like that would be a lot better, that wrestling, something like that, than boxing. Boxing is just not effective, and we're going to get into it here in a bit.
He's
just mumbling, man. He's
they trying to pull me back into this shit. But I'm saying, man, just let me keep playing funny, man.
Hey, and by the way, I'm going to put a link in the description. Sara Fields from X, and she's all over the place. She's been covering this case. She's been doing a lot of work on this case. Most of the information that I glean about the Karmelo Anthony case comes from her investigative journalism, and she's actually suing this gentleman. He's threatened them. He's called her a whore, a racist. Said he was gonna, if he was his old self, he would get an army to stand behind the family. He's just creating a lot of tension and strife between everybody. He's doing all the race baiting by calling her a racist and a Nazi. And it's all completely false. So I'm going to put a link in the description right down there. So you can, if you can, help with her defense fund. Her lawyer is on her Twitter talking about what they're going to do, and anything will help. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So I have another video I want to share before I get into my experience. This is Jake, 1090 Jake, or I can't remember this fool, what he's famous for, but he talks about his time in the big house and going from juvenile to adult.
Yeah, and that's where I really saw like the booty bandits, these big ass dudes that walk around with 2-3 white boys behind them. That's where shit's different, bro. Because I was closed custody, which is the equivalent of max custody. So I was closed. So even though I only had 3 years, I'm in here with people that got life and shit. our specific dorm was celled, but you had other dorms that are open bay, where it's just a bunch of bunk beds and shit. Like there's no, you know what I mean? It's just bunk beds everywhere. Those dorms smell like ass because of the shit that's going on in there. Like it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, but it got out and turned Christian just straight out. Said,
"All right, here we go."
Stuck a.
Sorry, I didn't mean to play that.
Really, just all the rape shit in there made me just say, "Nah, man, I'm good. I'll stick to women."
Yeah, nah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like it aside from the broomstick shit, it wasn't that common in the YOs. But I ended up getting my YO snatched after I got hit with the brick because they said I was involved in a gang war.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they sent me to adult prison. And my first adult prison was Appalachia CI, which is the Tester Hot. When you go to the YOs, you're going to get TOH. And this could be you getting jumped and beat up, which really isn't a TOH. Or we would take, the chain link fences, we break off a piece of fence, straighten it out into a poker, chopping it up. You're getting held down and poked up in your ribs, your legs, your ass cheeks, your feet, so that you can't get up and do nothing afterwards. You're getting hit like 200, 300 times.
That's right. They're
relentlessly stabbing you with this poker. Now, they're not going all the way in, but just enough that you feel it because they want to extort you. You're going to break it off. The second you say you're going to break it off, it's done.
That's what it is. And look, everyone knows how Karmelo and his family has all that money. A lot of it's going to go to lawyers, hopefully. So his supporters don't get burned on that. But they're going to extort him. They're going to want money. If not, they're going to do exactly what Jake went through. I assure you.
That means you paying rent. You got to pay to stay here. You know what I mean? So your ID card with your name and all that shit in your picture, that's what you swipe at the canteen line. So people are getting ran down on for shit like that. And it was bad. One of the spots I was at, they're trying to boil your dick and nuts in water. But was the broomsticks. It was more so a fear factor. Somebody would get held down, get stripped. And
that's all the truth. Look, here's the deal. The purpose of this video is to tell you and to tell them, hopefully they see this, that boxing isn't going to cut it. Karmelo, if you see this video, trust me, brother, boxing ain't going to cut it. And while you're at it, trying to figure out a better way than boxing, tell your parents to get rid of Dominique Alexander, to get rid of Charleston White, brother. You need to just focus, be remorseful, get yourself into some prayer, and figure this shit out, man. Because the way your team's going right now, it's not good. You might think you're getting ahead, with public opinion, but you're not, man. You're not. I'm telling you. Okay, check this out. This is a highlight from Joe Rogan. Check this out.
Just choke him out, beat him up, drag him out, hit him with some elbows. Now he's leaking.
So do they know you can fight before you're in traveling?
It took a minute because most of the fighting goes on in the cell or in a shower. You know what I mean?
These dudes
when
are
the fight
MMA
actually
fighters.
broke out in the open when I was fighting multiple people is what happened. And then all the fucking guards watched, everybody's watching from their cells, like this is a different time. I beat this guy up, take him out of my cell, right? Now they take him away.
They get mad at you?
No, they just come in, they don't really care.
So you fucked that dude up. Is he out cold? So does he have do they have to ask him? Do they have to ask him what his story is?
I don't give a fuck.
But they don't ask you. They just let you go.
No,
what is there a punishment? That's what I'm getting at.
They locked me in my cell. I couldn't get on my cell for like 2 weeks.
Oh, for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just alone in yourself.
He's just talking about punishment.
Nothing but your store. Just choke him out, beat him up, drag him out, hit him with some.
So that's what Karmelo's got coming. That's what he should expect to happen when he gets there. Let's listen to this old boy's story a little bit, and then I'll get into my story, my history, and how I came up through the ranks in prison fighting. Yeah.
He knows about it. You know what I mean? And I'm living in this room with this guy. So door pops. My cellie takes off running out of the cell. So I just posted up at the back of the cell, just waiting, and sure as shit, 2 guys come flying in. One guy flying in, try to stab me. And then we're fucking scrapping, rapping all over the place, fall out.
See, that's how jail fights go. You're not in a ring. You don't have gloves. And here's the deal. Like if you got a bunch of guys coming at you, 2 or 3 guys coming at you, Karmelo doesn't stand a chance throwing these. He's going to have to know how to grapple. You know what I mean? And plus, even if it did, it's not going to just be some boxing trainer with some mitts or you sparring with someone in a boxing ring. It's going to be big, burly dudes with tattoos on their face. You know, it's going to get into your mental situation when it happens. It's going to be all mental, and all that boxing training. Your feet, swing from your hip, all that's out the window. Now you're just going to have a war cry and just be screaming and just, trying to protect yourself, or you're going to curl up into a ball. And then hopefully they don't have these. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's listen to it a little bit more.
Out of the cell, we're up the stairs, fucking push the guy down the stairs. We fall down the stairs. I'm tired as fuck. Like fighting 2 guys. I'm tired. I'm lumped up a little bit. And I look over this way and I'm barely breathing. Look over this way and all the fucking cops just watching. They're just watching.
Oh my God.
So this other guy come over, he's kicking. I grab the other guy, drag him on top of me, and I'm just choking him, and like trying to use him to deflect this guy from getting.
And that's another thing. In these prisons, these cops, they use us inmates as entertainment. Just like he said, he was like looking for help, and those cops are just watching. Now they're not going to watch someone get unalived. They're not. They have to do something then. But maybe they'll get there before it happens. Maybe they won't. You just never know. But trust me, these cops are watching for entertainment, and that's at every prison, except for maybe a camp or a low or some bullshit like that, where you got a bunch of robo cops that can't even work the high security prisons because all the inmates have punked them out. That's the truth.
Getting at me.
Right.
And then realize this guy's out. He's not even awake. Push him off me, and now it's just me and this guy and everybody in the cells watching, and all the cops watching. So let's tear this fucking guy's ass up. We leave, and this guy never got up. The guy was choking. Never got up. Just eyes full of blood, right? So they send me to another cell block. I go in there for a couple of days. Guard comes in. We're going to move you to the gymnasium. So you move me to the gymnasium. So now I'm out of the cell block. I'm in a gym with 300 guys, can walk around.
So let me explain that. So when jails get full, when prisons get full, they start packing up the gymnasium. They kill yard time. You don't get no yard time unless you get some time outside. You don't get no gymnasium time. There ain't no one playing ball because the gymnasium is full of beds with boats. They call them boats. It's like a plastic, looks just like a boat. You put your mattress in it, and that's where you're sleeping. You're in the gymnasium, like he just said, with 300 guys. Try living with 300 guys with a bunch of weirdos and creeps and violent dudes and murderers, and him and their friends. You're not going to get a one-on-one with your fists, or there might be a no hands policy where it's like, if it ain't worth poking over, it ain't worth fighting over. And so someone might feel like it's worth poking over with, and you guys know what I mean when I say that someone might feel that way about that with Karmelo Anthony's case. Boxing ain't going to cut it. It really ain't, man. It really ain't.
When I get yard access, all this stuff, right? And the cop says, "I really appreciate what you did for us out there." He's like, "That was pretty fucking amazing." And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Everything that man said is the truth. It really is. It really is. My first prison fight, this is what happened. So I was on Fish Row. That's where you get classified. And me and this dude were yelling at each other through the thing. And I said something disrespectful to him, because I thought I was a tough guy going in there. I was just in county jail. I'm a big dude, I didn't get in many fights because I used the intimidation factor. I really did. But when you get to prison, there ain't no one, you're not intimidating nobody because there's someone bigger and badder out there. And so I talked some shit through the cell door, and something about like, oh yeah, something about his mom and I can't remember. I was an idiot kid. Well, he goes out to the yard before I do, so I'm never going to see this cat again. Well, eventually I go out to the yard and we end up in the same unit, and everyone's like, hey, you got to get to the rec yard. This dude wants to catch a fade. Catch a fade means to fight. And so I'm like, and they call that somewhere, they call it that, or someone just say, yeah, someone wants to, or they'll say catch the door. Let me catch the door. It means get in the cell. There's all kinds of different terms. It's different everywhere. But anyway, so I'm like, no, I ain't going out there. But all the guys in my car, all the white boys, because it's super racial in there. They're like, no, man, you got to get down. If you don't go down there, we're gonna, smash you here. You got to go, show some heart. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I go down there, and man, he was a big dude. He wasn't a skinhead, but he was like a punk rock dude. He might even been a sharp, which is skinheads against racial prejudice. It's they're like, they hate skinheads. Anyways, I can't remember what he was. Anyways, we get in the fight, and I just like close my eyes and just go like that, and he gets me, but I was like, my ego kicked in. Almost like, what, you want a round two? And he beat me up basically. And one of the there was like a Native American cat. He's just like, yeah, get a round two. But he's just saying that because he just wants to see me get beat up again. So I go for a round two, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, fast forward, I get in a few fights. I lose every single one of them, because I'm just like going like this, and this Native American cat. This is in a joint in Montana. This Native American cat, he's like, man, he's like, can I give you some advice? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, I see you got lots of heart, man. You got tons of heart, but you'll do better in these fights if you just keep your eyes open. So I'm like, okay. But he was right. Once I kept my eyes open, I started winning these prison fights, these jail fights. And I'm only calling prison fights just because of the topic, but I would never say that in regular conversation, like, oh, I'm a good prison fighter, nothing like that. But I ended up winning these fights. And after years and years of fighting in these jail cells, and in these crazy situations, or in the shower, because it happens anywhere where the cops can't see you, where you don't want to see it. And if you pick a fight in the day room where there's cameras and where the cops can't see you, then you're just a check-in. You're trying to get into protective custody. You want the cops to stop the fight. You're scared, right? And so you'll do it that way. But sometimes it has to happen in the open. I got one playing cards where the dude was calling me a cheater, and I just blasted him across the table, and it happened to have to happen in the day room. There was no time for us to be like, hey, let's catch the door. It was just, I was heated. He was, trying to like soft punk me at the table by calling me a cheater. He wasn't using the P word, calling me a punk or anything, but I felt like he was. And so, it was go time. So anyways, yeah. So it started getting better, and then, going into federal prison, go into the high securities, the USPs, you have to fight. You have to put in work when you get there. He's probably not going to have to do that when he gets to Texas. It just depends on what his experience is. Are the gangs going to try to swoop him up? Is he going to try to walk independent? You just don't know. There are going to be some people trying to extort him because they think he's got money, and which maybe he doesn't. Maybe all the money gets spent on his case at his trial with the lawyers. They just bought a really expensive lawyer, and they put in for a free lawyer. But I just think they did that because they didn't know which lawyer they were going to run through. At first, I was like, man, they spent all that money and they didn't even try to protect their son. Talking about his mom and dad. That's crazy, right? They just set him up for failure. But without showing remorse, Karmelo Anthony is going to get a ton of time. The judge is going to see all that. The prosecutor is going to see all that. The pre-sentence investigation is going to see all that. Put it in a report. Put it in front of the judge. The judge is going to read it. Instead of maybe giving him 15 to 25, he's probably going to get 25 to life through no fault of his own because of all the things that are being said out there. it sucks for him, man. It sucks. The whole situation is bad. Austin Metcalf lost his life over what? Over a guy being asked to, you can't be in this tent. It was basically a restricted tent. It was for the teammates of that school. He didn't even go to that school. His actions didn't meet the threat. They weren't even. They weren't equal. He had no stand your ground. The threat wasn't dead. The threat wasn't even a fight, as far as I understand. As far as any of us understand, nobody really knows yet because no one is saying anything. But I think no one is saying anything because they don't want to make it worse for Karmelo, not to protect his innocence, his self-defense claim. They don't want to make it worse. So anyways, that's all I got to say about that, guys. Please check me out. I'm going to put out another video today about some more Karmelo Anthony stuff. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I've already talked about and Sara Fields on Twitter and a bunch of other people, YouTube Streets. There's some conflict going on between YouTube Streets and Sara Fields. I might report on that. Go check out both of their content. People are threatening with lawsuits and all over this case. It's getting crazy out there. But I called it in the very, very beginning, 4 months ago. I think it was April. I called it. I said, this case is going to get nuts. There's going to be race baiters. There's going to be people trying to make a name for themselves. And hey, I'm one of them too, but I'm going to keep it real 100%. I'm not going to do any clickbait. Maybe the content of my video is clickbait worthy, but what you see in the title is what you're going to get inside this podcast every single time. And if I don't, I'll change the title. Call me out on it. And don't forget to like and subscribe, man. You know what I want to talk to you about?
Hey guys, it's Sam. Sorry to interrupt the show, but hey, can you hit that like button down below? It's absolutely free and it really, really helps the algorithm.
But it's their verdict.
Welcome to the After the Bars podcast. And for the 20% or 10% that has watched this far, I really appreciate you. And if you didn't like the video, hit that don't like. But what I'm telling you guys is the truth. I promise you. I promise you. I feel bad for that kid. I really do. I feel bad for everybody. You guys have a great day. I am Sam. This is After the Bars, and we are out.
Oh, wow. Well, this has been a journey. This has been a journey for us, like a journey through from legal troubles to mental health issues, to my own struggles, to your struggles, you sharing your struggles with me. I appreciate you, and thank you for that. Good night, good morning to the listeners of the After the Bar shows, from the morning mayhem shows, or the random nighttime shows. Good night, good morning to the listeners. There's a man named Sam who stands so tall with his podcast voice breaking down the walls. From behind the bars to a better day, he lights up the world.